up. Everyone turn your left. Wave goodbye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye now. Goodbye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye now. So we met me. I'm Elizabeth. We've met Wyatt. One more person to introduce to all of you, and that is my co-host for today's tour. You may recognize him from The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, and that's because it's Mr. Jimmy Fallon.
Oh, hey there. You made it. Welcome to the Universal Studio Tour. I'm Jimmy Fallon. I'll be making sure that you get through this experience in one piece. You've got the very best guide.
Elizabeth.
And the greatest driver.
Wyatt.
They're the best. I love them. Even though
Elizabeth
owes me $5.
Hey.
I know you guys are excited to get on the tour, but first, a few safety rules.
That's right, Jimmy. We do have a few safety rules. First, if you need guest assistance or have a medical emergency, or if you drop something of value off the side of the tram, or if you have any sound or video issues, reach up, grab the ready cord that runs along the center of the ceiling of the tram, and I'll be back to assist you as soon as it's safe to do so. Otherwise, during the entire tour, please stay seated and keep your arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times. The studio is private property, and if at any time during the tour you drop your phone or can't wait to use the restroom, just pull the cord and remain seated. Please, no smoking or vaping of any kind during the tour. Be prepared. Our tour today features loud noises, fire effects, and many water effects, so yes, you may get wet. There are also sudden tram movements during the tour, so please secure your personal belongings and hold on. Finally, for your safety and those around you, please do not use selfie sticks while you're on board. Alright, that's the nitty-gritty out of the way. We've left the theme park behind, and we are now rolling down the Universal timeline. I want you all to look to your left. Look to your right. Good, about half of you passed that test. Congratulations. And as you look to your right, you're going to see movie posters for just some of the thousands of movies that we've produced here at Universal Studios during that 110-year history. Some of them are Oscar winners, like Out of Africa, Schindler's List, Beautiful Mind, but we don't just do the serious stuff around here. We also have cult classics and comedies, like Back to the Future and Bridesmaids, so keep an eye out for your favorite Universal film. If you look over to your left, you can see construction for a brand new attraction based on our Fast and Furious franchise. Fast and Furious Hollywood Drift opens next year, 2026. Back to our right, Fire Station 51. Fire Station 51 is a real working fire station with real hard-working firefighters, and we're glad to have them here on the lot because every so often we do have a real emergency. This is Hollywood though, so they may be the only real thing we see on today's tour. As we continue down the timeline, we're going to be heading into the front lot. The front lot is primarily sound stages, large warehouse-type buildings that you build your set inside of, film inside of, and they block out about 98% of sound, which is really great. You don't want to hear me in the background of your TV show or movie, so we film inside of sound stages like Soundstage 12 over to your left. Soundstage 12 is our largest single soundstage here on the lot, and it's also the oldest still standing. It was originally built in 1928 for a movie musical called Broadway, though we've filmed many of your favorite movies in there since, and to see just a few, look up on your screens. Up on your screens, you'll notice the inside of an empty soundstage 12 with padding on the walls for soundproofing, and then the grid on the ceiling is for hanging your lights. It's another reason why you may want to film inside of a soundstage. You have full control over lighting as well as sound. That is a very empty soundstage. To our left, we're going to be passing by some very full sound stages. So sound stages 9, 8, 7, and 14 around the corner are all being used for the 4th season of Bel-Air. Bel-Air is a modern, more dramatic retelling of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air based on the classic 90s sitcom. 3 seasons are already streaming on Peacock, starring Jabari Banks and Ollie Sholatin. And it's been so great to have the cast and crew back here on the lot for season 4. Yes, wave at everyone. Everyone you see here on the lot is important, especially the people working behind the scenes. They're really the ones making the movie and TV magic happen. As we turn the corner to your left, you're going to see several trucks, trailers, tents, golf carts. This is what we call a base camp. Base camp is everything you need to get ready to be on set. So hair, makeup, wardrobe, dressing rooms for the star. And this is a very popular location for base camps because sound stages 7, 8, and 14 have been pretty busy over the years. Before Bel Air was in these sound stages, it's where we built Bayside High for the revival of Saved by the Bell, also on Peacock. And before that, sound stages 7 and 8 were the longtime home of Cloud 9, the superstore from Superstore, the hit NBC comedy starring America Ferrera, Ben Feldman, and Mark McKinney. Now, almost everything I've mentioned so far that's been filming here on the lot has been a TV show, and we have a long history of television here at NBC Universal going back to 1939, and we've been making TV ever since. To your right, sound stages 16 and 17. That's where they just wrapped up the 3rd season of Loot, another Universal television show. That one streams on Apple TV Plus, and it stars Maya Rudolph. It's also where they filmed the final season of Mindy Kaling's show, Never Have I Ever. That streams on Netflix. And these are the sound stages where we filmed much of Good Girls, starring Christina Hendricks, Mae Whitman, and Retta. I'm sure many of you would recognize Retta from another NBC show, Parks and Recreation. Who watched Parks and Rec? Yes, my people. She played Donna. She taught us to treat ourselves. Words to live by. Parks and Rec was created by Michael Schur, who also created The Good Place, which did film over to our right in Soundstage 19. But to your left, there he is, our first celebrity sighting. There's Ted. He's raising a beer. He's celebrating his TV show and welcoming us to the bungalows. To tell us a little bit about these small brown buildings over to our left, here are a few of the stars of our brand new live-action How to Train Your Dragon.
Hey there, Studio Tour. I'm Jared Butler.
I'm Mason Thames.
And I'm Nico Parker.
You know, these bungalows to your left are actually production offices.
Home to some of Hollywood's biggest filmmakers, including Mark Platt, one of the producers of our new live-action movie, How to Train Your Dragon.
Everyone wave. You might be there right now.
And if you haven't already, be sure to meet the iconic and beloved Toothless over in the plaza.
And see our movie only in theaters now.
But in the meantime, here's a sneak peek.
Everything we know about dragons is wrong.
You ready? Watch out! It's up!
How to Train Your Dragon, rated PG.
That's right, How to Train Your Dragon is now in theaters, including our very own Universal Cinema on City Walk. You may have heard them mention Mark Platt. Mark Platt Productions also produced the film versions of Wicked. So the first one is streaming now on Peacock, and then the second one, Wicked for Good, comes out in theaters later this year, November 21st. The trailer's out. It looks amazing. I'm very stoked. And that stars, of course, Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande. Ariana Grande is no stranger to doing musicals with us here at NBC Universal because she was also in our Hairspray Live, which was the very first production to film over to our left in sound stages 25 and 26. They're kind of tucked behind these offices, but you'll notice the office doors say St. Dennis Medical. All of the parking spots say St. Dennis Medical. And as we round the corner, you're going to see a giant poster that says St. Dennis Medical. Ooh, and they are currently filming, so I'm going to jump off mic. Called force perspective. We do that to make these buildings appear taller than they actually are. All right, we're gonna call it good. So I know everything in the front lot was kind of behind closed doors, but don't worry, from here on out, it's out in the open. We have made our way into the back lot and the Metropolitan sets. If you look over to your right, you can see the exterior set for St. Dennis Medical. And the Metro sets are very popular because they can be different places in the world at different time periods. So where we're rolling right now was once 1955, 1985, and 2015, all for the same film franchise. And if you recognize those 3 years, you know I'm talking about Back to the Future. That's right, we are now in Courthouse Square. If you look over to your left, you can see the courthouse from Back to the Future and Back to the Future Part 2. But if you're a super fan of those movies, you might be looking at me and going, Elizabeth, that building doesn't look anything like the courthouse from Back to the Future or Back to the Future Part 2. And you'd be right. That's because we put a new front on the building, a new facade to make it less recognizable. Because most writers, producers, directors do not want you thinking about Doc Brown and Marty McFly when you're watching their brand new TV show or movie. Because there is still constantly filming going on here in Courthouse Square. If you look over to your right, you can see a set for Bel Air, that Bel Air Academy bookstore. And recently we also transformed that building, the courthouse, into a high school for Ted, the second season. So really we can transform Courthouse Square into, again, almost any time period, almost any location. But it is usually small town America, like Hill Valley. I think it's time to say goodbye to the small town and hello to the big city as we turn onto New York Street. And as we turn, I want you to look both ways, because you're going to notice that the street curves at both ends, giving the illusion that it goes on for blocks and blocks beyond what the eye can see. This street is so long that we can set up the obstacle course for American Ninja Warrior along this street, which is what we do every time we host here in LA. It is called New York Street though, because it is often used as New York City, and someone who knows a lot about New York, of course, is my co-host, Jimmy Fallon.
Hey everyone, welcome to New York! I got my start right here in New York on Saturday Night Live. This is actually my old neighborhood. Once got mugged over there by an old woman. Tough lady. This is my favorite hot dog guy. Hey buddy, how's it going? Remember me? No. Just like old times. Gotta love New York City. Hey, I'm walking here! I'm walking here! Yeah, it's cool guys. I was just walking there. So it's not exactly New York, but a lot of times when you see New York in the movies, it was shot right here on the Universal Metro sets. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. Even if you make it here on the Universal lot.
New York Street has been transformed into present-day Brooklyn for episodes of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, another Michael Schur show, as well as Brooklyn of the past for Marvel's Captain America: First Avenger. But these buildings can also be transformed into international cities like London for Hobbs and Shaw, part of our Fast and Furious franchise, as well as the rainy streets of Paris for one of Billie Eilish's Amazon Prime Day musical presentations. But no matter what you're filming here, you're always going to need a director. And a director we love working with here at Universal Studios is Peter Jackson.
It's the original King Kong that made me want to direct movies. I saw that movie on TV when I was about 8 or 9 years old, and I wanted to become a filmmaker. I like films that just take you away from your real life and sweep you up an adventure. Kong literally does that. I mean, you're on board the ship, you're sailing to a lost island, you're encountering monsters and creatures from, prehistoric times. So I was thrilled when Universal invited me back to Skull Island, and it's great to have you along for the ride. Now, we have created this 3D immersive experience, so you're going to have your glasses ready. Don't put them on yet, but just have them in your hand because we're about to return to Skull Island.
And as we return to Skull Island, just a reminder to please stay seated, hold on to your belongings, your cell phones, your kiddos. It's going to get bumpy, everyone, so be sure to hold on.
Glasses on, everybody. We're back at Skull Island.
everyone, you just survived King Kong 360 3D! Give yourselves a round of applause! Woo! And you can feel free to take off your 3D glasses. That amazing 3D presentation was brought to us through collaboration with Weta FX. Weta FX is responsible for the effects in many of your favorite movies, like Avengers Infinity War and Endgame, Shang-Chi, The Jungle Book, King Kong, Avatar, and of course, the Lord of the Rings trilogy. They have now won 7 Academy Awards for their work on feature films, and their work dates back to the 1990s. They all even worked on the TV show Xena Warrior Princess, if anybody remembers that one.
With a project like the studio tour, the audience is in the middle of the environment. They're looking in all directions. There's creatures coming at them. They're seeing Kong from this side and T-Rexes from the other side.
Working on a movie, we always know where people are looking. They're looking straight ahead. They're looking at the shot that we're working on.
Here you have to take into account that people are looking in all directions.
Also, one of the things about this ride, unlike the movies that we're used to working on, there's no cuts because it's one giant shot. This tram that's driving along through Skull Island is where the camera's from. This ring represents where the screen is 10 meters away.
Creation about 50 minutes of a feature film. That amount of visual information, that number of pixels, and presenting them to the audience for its hell of a ride.
Digital effects are often referred to as CGI, or computer-generated images or imagery, and that's all done post-production. So there are 3 different parts of production. First, pre-production. That is everything that needs to happen before filming even starts. So writing, casting, budgeting, scheduling, and that usually happens over in the bungalows, in those production offices with the writers, producers, directors. Then there's production itself. That's what we think of when we think of making a TV show or movie. Lights, camera, action, actors and actresses on set. And that's what's happening all around us today. So in the front lot, all of the sound stages, here in the back lot, the metro sets, and then out on location as well. When we say something films on location, that just means out in the real world. It's going to be the most realistic, but you're going to have the least amount of control. Then, post-production, everything that happens after filming is done, but before the movie or TV show is ready to be seen on screen. And that includes elements like those high-tech digital effects. But when we're making our monster movies, like the ones you see featured over to your right on our amazing monster mural, this is by artist Tristan Eaton. When we're making these movies in the 1920s, 30s, 40s, 50s, we did not have the luxury of high-tech digital effects, no CGI, and so we had to depend on practical effects. A practical effect happens during production or in front of the camera and includes all of that amazing practical monster makeup and costuming as well. Most production does happen inside of a soundstage because that is where you have the most control, and we cannot build sound stages fast enough. So if you look over to your left, you can see some of our newer sound stages. Sound stages 30 and 31. You can see a lot of activity over there, a lot of equipment. This is where we're working on the 28th season of The Voice, if you can believe that. Yes, we just wrapped up the 27th season. Team Buble won for the 2nd year in a row. And we have a former voice coach that is coming back for season 28. Reba McIntyre is going to be on The Voice, as well as working in sound stages 32 and 33, also to our left. That's her show, Kathy's Place. We have it painted on the side of the soundstage, and they are currently working on their 2nd season. Also to our left, through the trees and shrubbery there, you can get a peek at Park Lake, sometimes referred to as the Hollywood Ocean. That's what we transformed into the Amazon River for Creature from the Black Lagoon, one of our classic monster movies, and one of the classic monsters we saw featured on our backlot mural. And we love our monsters here at Universal Studios. They were really our bread and butter during the 30s and 40s. They put us on the map. They kept us in business during the Great Depression. We cannot talk enough about them. We are now heading to Little Europe. This is where we filmed almost all of our classic monster movies, but it's also where we filmed much of The Good Place. Where are my Good Place fans? Yes, this is for you. So this is their afterlife neighborhood. The yogurt shops, the clam chowder fountain, the exterior of Cheaty's apartment. If those words mean nothing to you, it's okay. I have a clip. It's gonna give you a little bit of context.
You, Eleanor Shellstrop, are dead.
Cool.
This location, the afterlife, come on. I've never ever seen this. You're in the good place.
I'm not supposed to be here.
Over to your left, you can see that green open space. This is where they have their neighborhood meetings. This is the corner where they learn to fly. And you can see that set still says all chocolate everything. That is left over from the show. Many of the sets we have here on the lot are just shells or facades, meaning we only built what the camera would see from the outside. But we do have a few practical sets, like the yogurt shop up on your screen, which is over to our left. And you can see the open blue doors. There is an inside to that building, so a practical set is a set you can film both inside of and outside of. And again, that is one of the most well-known locations from the show. And for a while, they still have the menu up inside that set with yogurt flavors like full cell phone battery. If you are familiar with the show, again, to the left is the railway station. That's where they caught the train to the medium place and the bad place.
It's going to the bad place.
Okay, well, maybe it's not all that bad.
Hi there. How can I help you?
What is the bad place like?
Well, it doesn't sound awesome.
If you've never seen The Good Place before, I highly recommend it. Very bingeable. Only 4 seasons long. You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll love Maya Rudolph even more than you already do. I know you don't think it's possible, but it is. Go check out The Good Place. Long before Little Europe was ever the afterlife, though, it was Cairo for the Mummy, Transylvania for Dracula, Wales for the Wolfman, and Paris for Hunchback of Notre Dame. All right, everyone, we are about halfway through the tour, so just a quick reminder to please stay seated during the entire tour. Again, the studio is private property, and if you drop your phone or can't wait to use the restroom, just pull the red cord to get my attention. I will be back to assist you, but please do remain seated on the tram. This is also good advice as we enter the sound stage. Please do remain seated. Hold on. Hold on to your belongings. We definitely don't want to drop anything inside of the sound stage while you're taking your pictures of this amazing set, because I'm not allowed to get out of the tram to retrieve your item. They do not want me touching their set, and we don't want to create a continuity issue. Continuity is making sure everything stays the same from scene to scene, take to take, and some of us remember that one TV show that had a Starbucks cup in the wrong place at the wrong time. We know, oh, okay, hold on. Just a little California tremor. These happen all the time. Okay, maybe not so little. Everyone hang on. Oh, I think this is the big one! What movie the Earthquake attraction is based on? Earthquake. I know. Earthquake came out during our disaster movie phase in the 1970s. So there was Earthquake, the airport movies, and of course Jaws. And like I said, it is celebrating its 50th anniversary this year. So in celebration, I think we need to take a little trip to Amity Island. And as we head over there, first we need to check in with Chief Brody.
Hi folks, Chief Brody here. You may have heard we have a shark problem, so I'm afraid the beaches are closed. Yeah, you got a real bad place out there, Chief. I'm here to offer my services.
Thanks, Mr. Quint, but we do already have a plan.
You can hire me and be open this summer, or you can play it cheap.
Well, we do have Officer George patrolling the waters already.
Georgie? Diving? Sounds like amateur hour to me. Good luck with that one, Chief.
Well, he said the beach is closed, but it's too late to turn back now. Please do remain seated. Hold on to your belongings. We are going to be right up against the water here, but oh, it looks like they caught the shark. He's hanging out, smiling for all your cameras, so I think we'll be okay. As we look out at these sets, you're going to notice that some of them say Amity Island and... Oh no, it does look like there's another shark in the water. No, you don't understand. I'm pretty sure Officer George is still out there. Does anybody see him? There he is. Okay, everyone on the count of 3, we gotta call out to George, okay? 1, 2, 3, George! That was terrible. Try again. 1, 2, 3, George! Ugh. I really don't think he heard us. Ugh. I'm sure he's fine, right? It's only a flesh wound. We're gonna keep moving. Nothing to see here. And we're gonna hang out behind these barrels of gasoline. Cool. Not so cool. I do not know what's happening with that dog. That is not part of the plan, but as we're definitely not part of the plan. Okay, nobody panic, but everything's on fire. This is exactly why we have Fire Station 51 here on the lot, okay? We're gonna give them a call, and hopefully we'll be... I love that shark. It gets me every time. You know what? I think we need to get that shark. Yeah! I'm not a real man. I'm a shark. No, we're giving that shark a round of applause because it worked perfectly. I just wish the same could be said for the shark they used during the filming of Jaws. They built a mechanical shark for that movie here in California. They named him Bruce, after director Steven Spielberg's attorney, but they wanted to film on location on the East Coast. So they shipped Bruce across the country, they put Bruce in the water, and Bruce broke almost immediately. Don't worry, they made the movie. Like I said, it turns 50 this summer, but they had very limited footage of the shark, so most of that film came together post-production, using elements like sound, editing, and music. So it's no surprise that the 3 Academy Awards that Jaws won were for sound, editing, and music. Music is a really great way to raise the stakes in a situation. Another way to do that is to add rain to a scene. So if you want to make something more romantic, you add rain. More dramatic, you add rain. More suspenseful, you add rain. So if we want to make this tour even better, what do we have to do? Okay, take 2, everyone. What do we have to do? Add rain. That's right. I'm glad you all know your lines. That makes my life a lot easier. Don't worry. Your checks are in the mail. We are going to make it rain right here, right now, using another practical effect, so please do remain seated. Keep your arms and legs inside the tram. This is very high-tech stuff, folks. We're using sprinklers. So the water shoots straight up into the air. Gravity does the rest. The lightning you're seeing is done with flash cubes. Those are on top of the buildings, out of frame from camera. But the thunder you're hearing would probably be added post-production. Only about 10% of what you hear in a movie or TV show is recorded while the action is happening. It's mostly just the dialogue, what the characters are saying. Everything else you hear, like door slams, footsteps, background noise, or the rumble of a flash flood, that's all going to be added post-production by a sound engineer. And speaking of flash floods, look out, car 3! Don't worry, car 1, it's coming for us too. Don't say I didn't warn you. That is a very popular practical effect and our 3rd one in a row. So earthquake, Jaws, flash flood, no screens, no CGI. We are going to be passing by our Jaws attraction again here in a moment. So to tell us a little bit about bringing Bruce to the backdrop, here's the director of Jaws, Steven Spielberg.
The Jaws ride was almost the inevitable result of the size of the box office when Jaws first opened in June of 1975. And that was really the first time I ever got involved in the creation of a ride. It was a great honor to be invited into a creative circle of tremendous designers at Universal that were trying to figure out how to replicate what the movie had done to audiences in a real way by building a physical shark that would come out of the water and terrify tourists as they were sitting in the tram. And the most amazing thing about the Jaws ride is it is exactly as it was from the time it was first placed on the Universal lot. There have been tweaks, of course, over the years, but it is essentially what the designers and myself all envisioned and created.
So Bruce the Shark, both here on the back lot and in the movie, was a practical effect. And coming up on our right, we're going to see another practical set. So again, as practical set, you can film both inside of and outside of. This is called the Chicken Ranch. It was originally built inside of Soundstage 12 for the movie Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, starring Dolly Parton and Burt Reynolds. To your left, you're going to see the entrance of Colonial Street with a couple of signs that say closed set. This is where they just wrapped up the first season of a brand new TV show called The Burbs. If that sounds familiar, yes, it is based on the 1989 movie of the same name. They also filmed here on Colonial Street, and it's so great to have had them here on the lot, but it means we didn't get to go down Colonial Street for a while. But I can show you a couple of their picture cars over to your left. Both the police car and the garbage truck are from that production. And to be completely honest, we hardly ever get to go down Colonial Street because that is one of the most popular filming locations here on the lot, because it has several practical sets and shells that make it look like a classic American suburb. But even if you've never seen Colonial Street on a tour before, I can almost guarantee that everyone has seen Colonial Street at some point in their lives on screen. To give you a few examples of what has filmed down there, just look up on your screens. Something you may notice about these scenes from Colonial Street, of course, are the cars. What are the suburbs without automobiles? We already saw a few picture cars parked outside of Colonial Street, but to your left you can see some picture cars that are almost as famous as the actors and actresses they were on screen with. A picture car is any vehicle you see on screen. It can be a fire truck, a Ferrari, or even the gyrosphere from Jurassic World. And many of these picture cars are from your favorite franchises like Jurassic World and, of course, the Fast and Furious films. We also passed by a few prehistoric picture cars from the Flintstones, and that's my favorite thing about picture cars. They are so specific to a time period. They really help you time travel during your favorite TV shows or movies. So we're going to do a little time traveling right here, right now, back to the year 1960. Because we've made our way to the Bates Motel. Of course, we know that name from the film Psycho, directed by Alfred Hitchcock. And at the top of the hill, you can see the original house from that movie. But when they filmed the movie, that house only had two sides. This was not a practical set. They only built what the camera would see from the bottom of the hill here, and they filmed interior scenes inside one of our sound stages. But after we started giving tours in 1964, we finished the house, and it looks like somebody may have moved in. Friends? I think that is Norman Bates, so be cool. Do not engage. Hopefully he stays on the porch. But yeah, take a couple pictures, some video. I think we're gonna be okay. Though, I do not like the look on his face. Did he pull a knife? That's kind of his move. Oh, not yet? Okay. Spoiler alert. From one disaster to the next, we are now in the airplane crash site from Steven Spielberg's War of the Worlds. We're going to be stopping here for a moment. You can get plenty of pictures, plenty of video. Just as always, please do remain seated and hold on to your belongings. We do have about 5 to 10 minutes left in the tour. We will be returning to the theme park shortly. So just one last reminder that if you need any assistance at all, reach up, pull that red cord, stay seated, and I'll be back to help you out as soon as it's safe to do so. To tell us a little bit about this production, here's director Steven Spielberg and production designer Rick Carter.
The airplane crash site set is a perfect example of a set that is all designed around a vision that Steven had.
when we first began to sit down to talk about War of the World, that thought, what if the 747 goes down right in a big neighborhood? Because it's just something you don't see.
You're doing good. You're doing good. Keep your eyes on me. Listen, now listen, I want you to close your eyes, okay? Okay, I'm closed. Robbie, get in. Get in.
Even with impressive sets like this one, that is a real 747. They purchased a retired aircraft, transported it here, and destroyed it for this movie. Even with sets like this, Steven Spielberg still ended up using 500 special effects shots for that movie. And of course, we love the relationship we've built with Steven Spielberg over the years, but another Academy Award-winning writer and director that we love collaborating with is Jordan Peele, creator of Get Out, Us, and his most recent film, Nope. So, to take us to Jupiter's claim, here he is, Jordan Peele.
Movie magic only happens when a team of collaborators, often in the hundreds, work together to take an impossible notion and bring it to life. This is Jupiter's Claim, a nostalgic, small-time Southern California amusement park owned by former child star Ricky Juke Park. Over there, look into the winking well and have your picture taken just like the kids in that old 90s movie Kid Sheriff. That's what this whole place is loosely based on. Remember that one? No? Well, a little further down, you can see the brand new Star Lasso experience. Built to showcase an unbelievable new live show. Stop looking so live. Anyway, behind this Hollywood fantasy of a gold rush frontier town lies a sinister secret. It is smack dab in the center of a UFO hotspot. Welcome to the world of No.
She was also the production designer for Jordan Peele's second movie, Us, and she was nominated for an Academy Award in production design for her work on Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer did win Best Picture 2024, making it the 11th Best Picture Academy Award that Universal Studios has won. These sets were originally built up near Santa Clarita. That's where they filmed these portions of the movie. So they did film it on location. Again, on location means out in the real world. The most realistic, but not always the easiest or safest place to film. Especially if you think about filming in the water. You do not necessarily want to take your cast crew and equipment out into the open ocean. So maybe instead you come here to Falls Lake, which is the area of the lot over to our right. You can see they're working over there. It's something big, it's something top secret. Don't ask me what it is. They won't tell me, so I do not accidentally tell you. But you can see a big wall over there, and in front of the big wall is a giant pit that can be filled with 2.7 million gallons of water. It's why we call that area Falls Lake. And it is used for special effects scenes like this one from the movie Sully.
Evacuate.
So if you look up on your screens, you can see the plane, that's real, the people are real, the water is real, Tom Hanks was real. But everything you see in the background on your screen, the skyline, the cityscape, that was all superimposed on that big wall in post-production using blue screen or green screen technology, because usually that wall is the same color as me. You can kind of see it on the side. The very edge is still that bright blue. Again, for blue screen, green screen technology, which is the same technology that your weather person uses when they give you the news in the morning, or think about changing your Zoom background so it looks like you're on a desert island instead of in your messy room. Same basic idea. And then you send another crew out to the real location. In this case, it was the East Coast, and you get some wide shots or establishing shots, put it all together post-production, and it looks like it's all happening in the same place. All right, everyone, I think that is the last bit of movie magic I have time to share with all of you, but I hope you've now discovered that just like Jordan Peele said, movie magic really is everyone working together, pre-production, production, and post-production to make your favorite TV shows and movies. I would like to thank all of you for joining us here today at Universal Studios. You are now part of our 110-year history. And I'd like to thank our past members who are visiting with us. If you are not currently a past member, feel free to head up to the Universal box office. That's where they'll have information about upgrading to an annual membership today. Whether you're a past member or not, I hope you all make it back to Universal Studios, especially next year for the grand opening of Fast and Furious Hollywood Drift. As we head back to the theme park, just a reminder to download the Universal Studios Hollywood app. That's where you can find information like park hours. We are open until 8 p.m. tonight. You can check wait times for rides and attractions, show times for Waterworld, do mobile food ordering, and so much more. If you'd like to purchase any of the NBC Universal TV shows or movies you heard about on today's tour, just head to www.uphe.com or ask at one of our retail locations. As we pull into the unload area here, please do remain seated until the studio tour ambassadors open up the gates for you. Watch your arms and legs as they do. Take a moment to gather up all of your belongings. Watch your step as you exit, and be sure to drop those 3D glasses into the bins. Again, my name is Elizabeth. If you have any questions, I'll be hanging out over by the digital directory. But on behalf of myself, our driver Wyatt, and all of us here at Universal Studios, I hope you've enjoyed this exclusive behind-the-scenes experience. As we say here in Hollywood, that's a wrap. Bye-bye. Thanks, everyone.
お姉さん30分以上ずーっと喋りっぱなしですごいね。台本も見ずに